London 1978. A serial killer stalks the city's vulnerable young men. But for years, no one knows he even exists. Before we begin, make sure to follow for more true crime stories. Let's dive in. Dennis Nilsen, later known as the Muswell Hill Murderer, would go on to kill at least 12 young men between 1978 and 1983. His crimes were chilling, brutal, and hidden behind the walls of his own home. Born in Scotland in 1945, Nilsen led an isolated and troubled life. After serving in the army and working as a civil servant, he began luring young men to his home. Many of his victims, like Kenneth Ockenden, Martin Duffy, and Stephen Sinclair, were homeless or struggling with addiction, easy prey for a killer who offered warmth, food, and shelter. Once inside, Nilsen would strangle his victims, sometimes drowning them in a bathtub. But his crimes didn't end there. He kept the bodies for days, even weeks, engaging in disturbing rituals including necrophilia, before eventually dismembering them and disposing of their remains. In February 1983, the horror finally came to light. A plumber investigating a clogged drain in Nilsen's Muswell Hill flat discovered human remains. When police arrived, Nilsen calmly confessed, "There's more in the cupboards." The investigation uncovered a nightmare. Body parts hidden in bags under floorboards and even in the garden. At trial, Nilsen claimed he had no control over his actions, describing himself as a man possessed. But the jury disagreed. He was convicted of 6 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder, sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of release. Even behind bars, Nilsen showed no remorse. He spent his time writing and drawing, often attempting to justify his actions. In 2018, he died in prison at age 72, but his crimes left behind lasting scars, not only for the families of his victims, but also for law enforcement officers who uncovered his horrors. This case also exposed the vulnerabilities of marginalized communities in 1970s and 1980s London. Homelessness and addiction were on the rise, and many of Nilsen's victims were failed by a system that overlooked their struggles. Their stories remind us of the importance of compassion and vigilance in protecting society's most vulnerable. Even in death, the scars of Nilsen's actions remain. His case serves as a grim reminder that evil can lurk behind the most ordinary facades. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay safe and stay aware.